It has been a while since I last posted a YouTube video. However, with the current mosque catastrophe going on in Lower Manhattan, I felt the need to chime in. First of all, we need to be honest and stop calling it a mosque. It is no more a mosque than a Jewish community center is a synagogue, or a YMCA is a church. Now, secondly, it is not at ground zero. Yes, it's near ground zero, and so is another mosque that exists today. And unless people are going to be calling for the tearing down of that existing mosque, then it's not really an issue what the proximity of it is to ground zero. People are asking why they must build this cultural center where they're building it. It seems to me that people are ignoring a very important fact here. This building has been out of commerce since 9/11. So perhaps they got a good deal. Imagine that. People getting a good deal on real estate and seeking to capitalize on it. Shocking, I know. So what other group of people would be asked to take the feelings of other people into consideration when they're making a financial decision? There is none. And we would not ask people to do that. It is absurd to suggest that people should spend more money on a building just because someone might get their feelings hurt. There are people like Howard Dean who are suggesting that we have a dialogue with people, good-intentioned people, who are in opposition to the building of this cultural center. Now, I don't know who these good-intentioned people are, because to me, I cannot find any good intentions in seeking to treat one group of people differently than other people are treated because of their religion. However, let's assume for a second that Dean is right. Where should we build it if we don't build it right where in Lower Manhattan? Perhaps we find a place on the Upper East Side that they can build. Well, some extremist radical conservative will just say that, hey, Islamic terrorists attacked Manhattan on 9/11, so therefore if you allow them to build a mosque there, it'll be a victory mosque, because they will be building it in victory and celebration of their attacks against us. So, let's get those well-intentioned people, put it in Queens. Well, same radical conservatives are going to say, oh, the Islamic terrorists attacked New York City on 9/11, and it will be another victory mosque that they will be building on New York City. So let's say it's outside of New York City. Let's say that they place it in Ithaca, New York. Well, guess what? Ithaca, New York, still in New York. Terrorists attacked us on 9/11 in New York, so it'll be a victory mosque in New York State, a symbol of the Islamic terrorists' victory over us, or what have you. So let's say we build it in this country. Well, anywhere in this country. Some conservatives are going to say, we cannot allow that to happen. We cannot allow any new mosques in this country to take place. Do we really want that to happen if we start listening to these extremists? Oh, wait. They already do. They're already saying it. Watch.
You don't want any mosques built in the United States, is that correct? You want a moratorium?
Well, I think the reality, Dr. Gupta, is that when we look at Islam, we're looking at a totalitarian ideology that is anti-Christian, that is anti-Semitic. The values that are at the core of Islam are contrary to every single solitary Western and American value. And I think communities ought to have the liberty to reject building permits. Each one of these mosques is either a potential or actual recruitment center for jihadism.
And I know I'm going to hear from conservatives who are going to suggest that I am naive for suggesting that we actually treat American Muslims equally under the law in a way that follows our Constitution and the tenets that our judicial system is based on, that treats people as innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Really disturbs me with
Listen to this conversation I had with a local New Orleans conservative talk radio host.
These people who are involved with building this cultural center are radical extremists that are connected with Al Qaeda.
But we don't know that they're not. We're not sure that they're not.
We don't treat people as if they're guilty until proven innocent in this country, Jeff.
But
just think about that for a second, people. We don't know that they are not. Is this honestly what the modern conservative movement has come to? If they are allowed to retake Congress in the fall, I fear where this country might go if that's the type of thoughts that they're going to be bringing to this country. Now, as a Jewish person, I have a very special message to any Jewish person who opposes the building of this cultural center in Lower Manhattan. You really have forgotten your history. There was, just in case you forgot, once upon a time, there was a time where Jews were told that they had less rights and freedoms than other people. Most people know how that turned out. It wasn't good. Now, perhaps you might say I'm being overzealous with this comparison. Well, in my listening to conservative talk radio, I have heard people suggest that we should intern Muslim Americans, just like we did to the Japanese in World War II. Just like the Nazis did in World War II to the Jews. They were interned into camps. Then I have suggested other people suggest that perhaps we should just nuke the entire Muslim world and let Allah sort it out. Yes, this was actually said on the radio. People actually spoke these words. And so when people start talking about the mass murder of a people because of their religious beliefs, not caring if they're actually guilty or not of any sort of crime or terrorism or anything, I think the bringing up of the mass murder of other people because of their religious beliefs is a valid comparison. The bottom line is this. We live in a country that guarantees the freedom to practice your religion, it guarantees equal protection under the law, and it guarantees that the system will treat all people as innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. To suggest that the people who have committed no crime should in any way feel that they have to change the way that they would normally behave because some people who happen to claim that they share religious beliefs with these other people committed a crime against us, it goes against everything that we as Americans should hold dear. Every single freedom-loving American should get behind the people who are building this cultural center. Not just because to stand against them is to deny them their fundamental rights as Americans, but it's because these people have publicly stated they've acted in ways to try and root out the extremism in their own neighborhood. Yes, conservatives have been calling since 9/11 for Muslims to go out and call out terrorists and denounce terrorism and denounce Al-Qaeda, even though a simple Google search can show you that they have been doing so. You have a group of people here who are hoping that this cultural center is going to act as a conduit to promote the mainstream Muslim Americans in this country and to fight the intolerance of the extremist Muslims in their group and to welcome in other people of all faiths so that they can sit down together, perhaps break bread together, perhaps have some dialogue and discussion to realize that we're not really all that different and that perhaps we should be all rejecting the extremism that exists in our groups, be it extremist liberals, extremist conservatives, extremist Democrats, extremist Republicans, extremist Jews, extremist atheists, extremist Christians, and extremist Muslims. We should all be forming together and fighting that extremism and finding a way to work together against it. And if you're standing against these moderate people from trying to erect this cultural center, you are standing against everything that America holds dear, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Period.